Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Um, Happy Veterans Day. I don't celebrate too many of the holidays, but I have much love and respect to the men and women who serve. Enjoy your day. This conversation, it took me a second to like get my thoughts together. It actually took me a day or two because it was a subject that was kind of close to how in my heart, you know what I mean, and about how I feel about certain things, about morals and principles, and stuff like that. Recently, I had an opportunity to speak at a pretty well-known college in the South Florida area. It was brought to me by somebody who I care about a lot and who's close to me. So I want to make sure that I'm not rude or disrespectful to what it is, to all the hard work that she did to try to get the whole thing set up and put me in a position where doing something that I love to do, which is to speak to at-risk youth about building businesses and telling them about Apex and telling them about contract, things that I love to do. But what happened was, as we started to go through the process and they started to learn more about me, I'm unorthodox. I'm not the run of the mill. I don't look the normal part of the normal businessman. I'm a whole, I'm a different character. So first they were like, you need to cover up the tattoos. They went to the YouTube channel and they were like, you can't curse and things of that nature. And I'm like, first and foremost in my mind, I'm like, if it's a bunch of kids, I'm not going to sit and curse anyway. You know what I mean? When you get me here, you're getting just me being me and me talking to, the folks who are a part of my tribe, my family, my team, the people that want to hear about the stuff I'm talking about. So I started thinking about it, and the thing that kept coming to my mind was compromise. And I believe in adjustments, but I also believe in authenticity. Everything that built Apex and built Contract is me being me. Throughout my entire career, throughout my entire life, I've been told they didn't like how I talk. I talk too urban. I use too much slang. I need to change my voice. All of it. But everything that got me to this point is me being me. Now, don't get it twisted. I've made adjustments along the way. I've made adjustments to, if I need to speak to a certain audience or I need to speak to a certain crowd, I know how to not use, vulgarity or to be a little bit more mild-mannered. That's an adjustment. But for me to like put on a Carlton sweater and run around the stage, skipping around, that's not what I do. Everything that makes me who I am is what I bring to this. I grew up in Emerson Village, Baltimore, Maryland, right? Baltimore made me the man that I am. Now, let me explain that. When you come from an environment where it's a little bit more edgy and tough, because Baltimore is a blue-collar city, and I'm not talking about the negative aspects of Baltimore because I'm not glorifying that. What I'm talking about is a city full of blue-collar, hard-working folks who do their best to give their best to their children, do their best to make sure that their children have the best education. I graduated from one of the most prestigious high schools in the state of Maryland, which is in Baltimore. So everything that encompasses hard work, grittiness, and toughness is what makes up who I am. So for me to change that, I wouldn't be true to who I am and what Apex and Contract is. Every single contract that we got, every single, everything that came to be with this company came through hard work, sweat, dedication, being up late at night when everybody else was stopping work, we still was working, just the level of intensity, hard work, and persistence is what built my company. If I take that and try to change it into something where we aren't as strong as we always have been, then number one, I'm doing a disservice to my team. Number two, I'm doing a disservice to what it is that is the whole household of Apex and Contract. And I'm doing a disrespect to myself. I want people to know, I want the kids to know that you can do it unconventionally. As long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting your family, and you're not hurting somebody else's family, you can do it unconventionally. If you don't want to go the scholastic route, right, which is, you end up at Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, you don't have it in you to do that. It's okay to go this route if you want to, if you want to pick up a trade, there's nothing wrong with picking up a trade. I've been blessed to see all aspects of it, from the scholastic to the trade side. And my heart is in the middle. I'm always on a quest for education. I'm always on a quest for knowledge. That's one thing that you should always, that's something that as an aspiring entrepreneur, you should always be on a quest for knowledge. I subscribe to that. But being unorthodox and unconventional does not make you lesser than. And if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Now that's an old saying, but it's a true saying. Because in this world that we live in with social media and, Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and all of those things, you're going to be able to watch Contract go from 0 to level 10. You've been able to watch Apex go from 0 to level, we're at about a 5 now. All of that has been me being me. All of those stories that you see on my Instagram, that's real. That's real to my heart. So if something inspires you, or you can relate to something that I went through, or, if I can relate to something that you went through, I want authenticity. I want to know that you felt something. I want to know that something helped you, it hurt you, but it made you strive to be better. If you go on stage and speak to somebody and you tell them, oh, you got to do it this way, you got to make sure that you do this, and this, that might not be my story. And if I don't do it the way that you're telling me, does that mean I can't do it? This is something that it really, really, it gets under my skin, but it inspires me. First, if you think that money is going to, better yet, if you think that things are going to fill the void and make you feel like success, you got another thing coming. The money and things that you buy are not what bring you happiness and peace. What's going to bring you happiness and peace is the hard work that you're putting in right now. Believe it or not. Once you obtain the dream, the next thing you're going to sit back and think is like, what do I do next? Now what? But while you're sitting here waiting to obtain the dream, it's like, I can't wait to the day that I can take my mom on a trip overseas. I can't wait to the day I can take my wife to Europe, or, I can buy that new diamond necklace she wanted, whatever. That's the happy time. That's the happy time. Because once you get here, once you get to the part where the money is there and the success is there, then the stress starts. The stress starts, the keeping up with everything starts, the trying to make the keeping up with the Joneses bullshit. I'm just not with it. The only people I ever conform and change myself for is my team. Royal, Lisette, Marvin, Tari, I'll change for them because of the hard work, man hours, the nights spent up working. I know that if I make mistakes, it could damage them, and I owe them more than that. I owe them more than that, and I've seen all the stuff you see, the YouTube stuff, the website, everything. That ain't easy. And you know, people criticize you, they're gonna take shots at you, but they don't know how hard you've worked. So I won't ever change for an outsider. I'll change for the people inside my house. All the people that are inside this Contract Fortune Apex house, Bravo, I'll change for them. But for just some random outside person criticizing and taking shots at us, I'm not gonna change for that. I owe them way too much to let them down like that. Also, if there's somebody in that audience, right? And this is the part that really bothered me. If you're speaking to disadvantaged youth that have been shots been taken at them, you know, they're this, they're that, just taking shots at them, constantly chipping at their self-esteem, chipping away at their self-worth. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to do that to them. I'm not going to say you got to dress this way in order to obtain this. I'm going to tell you, look here, if you work hard, if you put the work in and you present it correctly, you're going to achieve success. And that's facts. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to adjust your appearance. And when I say adjust your appearance, I mean you just got to make it more palatable for somebody in the business place. All right. Most of the time you see me, I'm in a polo shirt and dress slacks. I like suits. I love suits. I wear suits well. But for the most part, to be comfortable, I'm in my polo shirts and my dress slacks to maneuver, and that's how I make moves. That's what I like. So you want to make yourself palatable for the people that you're trying to do business with, but the clothing that you wear should be a reflection of you as well. You know, if you gotta clip your whiskers and put on a polo shirt, make it a polo shirt that complements you or complements your style. I say all that to say, anything that you want to do is possible, and you're gonna go further if you're authentic and tell the truth with it. To sit back and sell a false narrative to a group of people, right now we're talking about disadvantaged youth. For me to sit back and sell them a false narrative and tell them that they got to do this and conform to that in order for them to obtain the success that they're looking for, I'm lying to them, number one, and number two, I'm lying to myself. Because, like I said, everything that we built in this house, we built to be in the way that we are. You taking the steps versus the elevator. Maybe if you conform to some things, you can take the elevator and go right up. Life ain't always fair. Life isn't always fair. Some people, they might look a certain way and they get to go straight to the top. Or they talk a certain way and they get to go straight to the top. People look and talk to me and they make an assumption until they see that I know my shit. And then they can't say anything else to me. All they want to do is do business with me. And the funny thing is, all of the people who gave critique, the people I ended up doing business with, they still come look for me. At the end of the day, they still come look for me because they know my word is bond. They know my work is efficient. They know my work is going to be precise and on point. I didn't conform. They conformed to me. And that's how you should be as an aspiring entrepreneur. You don't have to conform to them. If your work ethic and your work speaks for itself, they can conform to you. And they will conform to you because they know you know your shit. And that's what it boils down to, period. You can be whatever you want to be. Girl, boy, black, white, whoever your ethnicity is. You can be whatever you want to be. You just got to believe it in here. If you believe it in here, anything you want is possible to achieve. And the best way to achieve it is to tell the truth. You're going to take way more losses than you're going to get victories. That's the first thing I tell you. I feel like the opportunity that was given to me and then taken away from me, it wasn't a loss because I didn't conform to fit that narrative, to fit what that was supposed to be. It would have been a loss if I did that. Because I would have gone up there and said basically everything that I'm saying to you now, minus the curse words. And I probably would have got in trouble for that. Your trials and tribulations are what make you. Your trials and tribulations are what define you. Your trials and tribulations are your victories as you take what caused you pain and let it make you strong. Me losing my mother, me losing a home, me going through a divorce, all of those pains that I went through helped to make the man that you see right now. It made me more intelligent. It made me more prepared to deal with the pain that comes with life. Those are the things that matter when it comes to being an aspiring entrepreneur. If your goal is to be able to be a member at the nicest country club or to, be able to look down on people, then I'm probably not for you. Because my goal is, number one, to be the best reflection of humanity that I can be. Number two, to be the best reflection of my team that I can be. And number three, to let people know that that little girl growing up in Hialeah, that little boy growing up in Liberty City who right now, they don't have all of those iPad, iPod, whatever, the tablets and all that you can be sitting right here. You too can sit right here. I'm for you. Like, I'm here for you. Because when it's all said and done, you're going to work harder than those who were given those opportunities. Because you're not going to want to go back. And that's not to say you're not going to want to go back and visit your neighborhood, because you're going to want to go back and visit your neighborhood so you can pull the next person out. And that's another thing that comes with this, to my future aspiring entrepreneurs. If you get yourself out, you got to go back and get somebody else out. And that's how you help to save humanity. That's a side note. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. But I'm for you. I belong to you. Questions, comments, I'm here for you. Those that already got it and their parents already gave it to them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing them. But those that already got it, they're okay. On this side of the field, we here still trying to get it. So I want to make sure that you know that you can come from the worst circumstance and get pulled up and pull yourself up. Because the same person who got me this speaking engagement, when my mom was getting ready to leave this life, she told me, there is no rescue party. Nobody's coming to cheer for you. You got to cheer for yourself. You got to be a cheerleader for yourself. And that's what I learned how to do. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't help the next person, but you cheer for yourself because you woke up today. You cheer for yourself because you went to school and you might not have had the freshest pair of J's or, whatever the new hot shit is, but you still sat there and you learned your lessons and you got knowledge. Because again, I am a believer in educating yourself. If you don't do nothing else in this life, educate yourself. Because education is more important than any material object or financial. And let me tell you something, education is the only thing that when you leave this life is going with you, because they can't take your memories and they can't take your hustle and they can't take your thoughts. So when you leave this life, that's going with you. So I will not compromise. I'll make adjustments according to whatever audience I'm in front of, but I'm not going to compromise. Anyway, thank you for listening to me. Like and subscribe to this motherfucker, and we'll see you on the next go round. Have a wonderful week.